Okay, so once you've had a look on Google and you've looked at some of the websites for barber schools that you're interested in attending, I would probably create a short list of maybe your top 2 or 3 if you have so many options. It may be that there's just one in your area that you want to go and check out. So what do you do after you've looked on their website? Go and visit the barber school. It's one of the best things you can do. Go to the environment that you potentially may be training in and working in, and get a feel for how they do what they do. So when you go to a barber school, I would say you should talk to the educators. There may be a lead educator that oversees all of the training, but try and talk to as many of the educators as possible. Find out a bit about themselves, a bit about their background in the barbering industry. There's also actually a lot of barbers who are educators who actually came from the hairdressing industry and then transferred over to barbering, and they're now training students in the barber school. So get as much information as you can about the educators in the school, and just get a feel for their personality. Is this somebody I would like to be trained by, I like to work with? Not all personalities mix. You may find that you just don't get a vibe for somebody where you just feel like, do you know what, this isn't going to be the right place for me. So go to the barber school, talk with the educators. Also just have a look at the environment. What does it look like? Is it a well laid out environment, or is everybody cramped in on top of each other? Just get a feel for the whole atmosphere and the whole vibe, because this is going to give you, if you're new to barbering, this is going to give you a bit of a insight as to what it's like working in a barber shop. And it may be for somebody that at that point they decide, actually this isn't the kind of environment that I'd want to work in, and they may opt out of going to barber school. But for some people, it's going to really ignite the fire and the hunger in you to say, okay, I've got to do this course. And then finally, if there's one thing that I'd say you should certainly do if it's available, book in for a free haircut. A lot of the barber schools now are dependent upon people booking in to get free haircuts so the students can get their training. So I would suggest, if they offer a free haircut, book in on one. When I was looking for a barber school, I actually went to the school I ended up attending. I actually visited them 3 times, and I'll give you a little tip here. Visit the barber school more than once if you can. Reason being, try to book in at different times in the day if possible, because in a barber school you'll have different levels of student. You'll have the beginner that is just started working on clients' hair, so they may be about 6 weeks into their course if they're doing it part-time. If they're full-time, then it may be their second week into the course, and now they're starting to be guided in cutting an actual client's hair. But then if you can also book in and get somebody who's towards the end of their course, that's going to give you a real insight as to the kind of level you can get to in that barber school when you're trained by their educators. So definitely, if they offer a free haircut, guys, you've got to book in on it. It was interesting for me. I'll share with you a bit of my experience when I booked in on the course. What became quickly apparent to me was not many black men were booking into the school that I was going to attend. So the students were a bit nervous, or the student I had at the time, he was a bit nervous because it was going to be his first afro haircut. Whilst he'd been taught the principles of cutting hair, he hadn't actually had to do an afro haircut yet. So he did an okay job for his first one. He did well, and the educator helped him along and helped him out, and you know, I was happy with the service that I received. But for me, that wasn't an issue, because I knew I wanted to go to a school where actually predominantly I wasn't going to be cutting afro hair, because that was already my background. For some people, if you want to cut predominantly afro hair, then that would be something to think about. But certainly get down to the barber school, and if you've got more than one barber school that you're looking at, make sure you book in all of them and get a feel for every place. So that's a little tip for you all.